are welcome to the part 2 of this session. Please stay hooked, stay glued. There is more to come. Thank you so much. So, Pastor, we're talking about this question here, Pastor. So we can all understand what we're talking about. The word discipline does not exist in marriage. It does not exist at all. We can negotiate, we can discuss, we can communicate, in a healthy way, in a calm way, but no discipline at all. The next question here is, how did COVID-19 affect or trigger physical abuse? And can abuse trigger suicidal tendencies? So this is the next question that came in. So
yes, one of the, I'll start with the second one. Okay. One of the signs, or one of the key areas, or the key consequence of physical abuse is depression.
Wow. Depression
is a mental health challenge, and depression can lead to suicide.
Oh.
Mostly suicide. Majority of the time, most of the time, suicide is as a result of a mental health challenge, mental health breakdown. So when you hear people commit suicide, we used to think that they were cowards, they chickened out, but sometimes it's a breakdown of the mental health.
Wow.
So it's a mental health challenge. When you see people can't take it anymore, they break down and they just want to end it. If they get help quickly, nobody will want to end life.
Sure.
So it's a mental health challenge. And that is one of the signs, one of the consequences of physical abuse. Yeah. People fall into depression and there's a mental breakdown that will lead to suicide. It is very, very common. Suicide, most of the time, it can be triggered by physical abuse. And so this is something that people must guard against. That's why you can't just keep telling somebody in a physically abused relationship, come on stage and endure it, manage it, man up or woman up.
Woman up. Yes.
You can't keep saying that, because it might get to a point the person can't take it and they just end it all.
Exactly.
And at that point, you would have contributed to their...
And you won't forgive yourself.
Exactly. Because your advice didn't help. It only complicated the issues. Now for COVID-19, COVID-19 exposed people. People had to be locked together at home. Do you know that there are some husbands and wives who stayed home for the first time, spent a full 24 hours together for the first time since they got married? Because every day one person is out to work, the other person is out to business, and they spend a few hours together. But this time around, they are forced to stay together for days, morning, afternoon,
especially
evening,
during the lockdown,
during the
total lockdown.
Exactly. So they're forced to be together completely.
Yes.
Now, at that point, do you know a lot of people have been managing their marriages by avoidance.
Yes.
There's an avoidance technique.
Yes.
So keeping the peace. So I don't want trouble. So when there's a problem, I just drive out of the home.
Exactly.
So that there will be no problem. I don't want any issues. I will just enjoy it. After all, I'll wake up and just go to bed, wake up in the morning and drive off to work. And still blow off the steam. And then when I come back, I've sorted myself out.
Yes.
Right now, you have to blow off the steam at home.
You are stuck.
You are not going anywhere. You have to deal with it.
Yes.
And people don't have access to the usual support system they had. Churches, the closure of churches created a lot of chaos, and people didn't see that.
Wow.
A lot of people saw churches about, the church wants more offerings, so they want to keep gathering.
Exactly.
Offerings and money is the least. Anybody who goes into business, who is looking for income and says, I want to start a church to make money, you will go mad. Because you will find out that 90% of those who come to church come to receive. They don't come
they are coming to seek help.
They're coming for help.
Yes.
So that's not the business to go into.
Yes.
But what support system the churches gave was, there was always a counselor.
Yes.
There were people who were providing marriage counseling. There were people who provided support. Some people you can't deal with. You go to church and just hearing a word helps you forgive, helps you let go. Just that fellowship and all of that. But this time around, they had to do... Some people think their husbands are monsters, and your monster is now the pastor at home for you. So you have to deal with these things. So basically, they were forced to stay together. I would say the rate of abuse increased.
Yeah.
Because they were staying together. But the plus side is that people got to understand themselves better.
Better, yes.
Husbands learned more about their wives.
Yes.
Wives learned more about their husbands.
Yes.
They did things they did not know before. So for those who allowed it to affect them positively, they are better off. Those who allowed it to affect them negatively, they are worse off. Some of them will be seeking divorce right now. So COVID exposed what was already in existence.
Exactly.
Rape,
yes.
we saw the statistics for rape increasing. Not because rape is not a new thing. Now a lot of people think that rape is just a new thing in society. It's increasing. It's not on the increase.
It's been there.
It's been there. I think right now it's just been exposed.
True.
You know, it's like flashing the torchlight on a dark corner in your home.
Yes.
There are some people, you haven't gone under your bed for a long time, and when you flash the torchlight, you see all the things you've been looking for.
But it has been there.
It's been there, but you didn't know.
Yes.
So it's just that we are getting more aware. And COVID-19 exposed a lot of this because people were stuck together. People were stuck with their abusers.
Yeah, oh my.
They couldn't go anywhere
Can
because there was a restriction. So they had to take a lot this season. And then people had to resort to social media to express themselves.
True.
And all of these things came out. So this is how COVID contributed.
Wow.
Both positively and negatively.
And negatively. Wow. Wow. That's a very good one. Okay. Another question is, what causes physical abuse? And how can you avoid being abused? How can it be avoided? What causes physical abuse and how can it be avoided?
Okay.
In a relationship, in a marriage, wherever you are, but what leads to these things, Pastor?
Okay. So I'll start with the second question again.
No
how
problem.
can you
avoid it?
being physically abused?
Yes.
You can't. So if we say to the abuser, how can you avoid being abused? We are putting the blame on the abuser.
Exactly.
On the abused. Sorry, we say to the abused.
Yes.
The person who is being abused, you tell the person you could have done things differently.
Yes.
When you say that, you are putting the blame on the person.
Yes.
There's nothing, you see, the abuser is the one with the problem, not the abused.
Yes.
There is nothing you can do differently to stop someone from abusing you.
Exactly.
Because the problem is not with you.
Exactly. You can only control your actions, not the other person's
exactly.
action.
You see, some people will say, maybe it's the way I talk to him, that's why he hits me. Trust me, there's nothing you can do. If you stop talking at all, he will find an excuse to hit you for not talking. True. He will say, I'm talking to you, you are not talking. And then he hits you. It's never in your place to prevent abuse, being abused.
Yes.
The abusers are the ones who have the problem. And most of the time, it could be a mental health condition. We must not think that the man is normal. The man or the woman may not be normal. Exactly. They may be dealing with a condition. And if you don't cry out, you will never know.
True.
And then if the man kills a woman in the process, and in the process of trial, they discover he has a psychiatric condition, they will let him go. Because he didn't do that consciously. He will go free. He will walk free.
And the woman is dead and gone.
She is dead and gone. So that's why you must know that the problem is never, ever, has never been, will never be the abused. Whatever the abused has done, there's nothing you are doing in your home that people are not doing.
True.
So why is it that your husband is reacting violently and other men are not reacting violently? That should tell you that it's a problem with the man.
Yes.
There's nothing, my wife cheated on me, so I punched her. How do you get to that point?
There are better ways to handle these things. Yeah.
You can say, I want a divorce.
Exactly.
You don't have to
separation,
be, you don't have to be violent.
Exactly.
So violence is a problem with the abuser, not the abused. So there's nothing the abused can do apart from seek help and cry out, separate if your life is in danger until the person is properly helped, professionally helped to come back to a place where they can now engage in a proper relationship. That's what has to be done. So that's the second part of the question.
Yes.
The first part of the question
says, what causes abuse?
What causes abuse?
Yes.
Okay, we started talking about that. Abuse, it could start from people who have grown up in abusive homes.
Yes.
That's one way. That's the first.
So that's like the foundational.
The foundation.
Yes, yes.
That's where it starts from. And mental health can also be a culprit. If somebody is not mentally stable, they can be violent. So you can't hold a madman on the street. You can't hold them accountable for their actions because they are not conscious of their actions. They are ill and they need help. So most abusers are in that category. And some other people are dealing with a lot of insecurities. They are dealing with a lot of emotional pressures, and they take it out on somebody else. And all of these things will not excuse an abusive person.
How about financial pressures?
Financial pressures.
Yes. Wow,
that is interesting.
Yes.
I don't want to say financial pressures can be responsible for abuse. Can push somebody to abuse their spouse. I think the problem is not the lack of money. The problem is with the person.
Okay.
A lack of discipline, a lack of self-control. Because, if you don't have money, there's nothing that says that you have to be abusive. Many other people don't have money, and they're dealing with it differently, So when people fail to take responsibility, they can blame others for their failures. And when people are in that position, I've heard a lot of men say, since I married this woman, my problems began.
She brought
bad luck to me. Permit me to use this word, that's a stupid man. It's an irresponsible man that will say that. We know that when you get into marriage, the responsibilities will increase.
Exactly.
So it's not bad luck. It's a matter of knowing that I will need to work harder. I will need to do more to meet up the responsibilities that will come with marriage.
Exactly.
And that's basically it. Stepping up to responsibility. So I think most men are damaged out there. Most women are damaged out there. And they need help.
Yes.
So what you do if you find yourself in an abusive relationship is to seek professional help. So that you don't become a number. People will learn from your case. Oh, that woman died or that man died in an abusive relationship. We must learn not to die in abusive. But you could have learned. You could have been alive to also learn. So seek professional help and don't accept it. Don't ever blame yourself for being abused. There's nothing you do to attract abuse. Just like there's nothing you do to attract a rapist.
Exactly.
There's nothing. A rapist is a rapist. It's not because of the woman or the man involved. The person is the one who has the problem.
True that.
There's nothing you can do differently because I've seen cases where they rape nuns in all their cladded attire. So it's not what people wear. It's about the rapist that has a problem.
Thank you, Pastor.
That has a problem, and that person needs to be fixed.
Yes.
First, before they are allowed to take responsibility in society.
Okay. So, Pastor, while you were saying something, this is not in the question, but it just popped in my head. We're talking about seeking help. You seek professional help. If you find yourself in this situation, either you are the abused or you are the abuser.
Exactly.
On both sides, they need help.
They need help.
Now, Pastor, especially for the religious setting, do we consider prayer as help? Because especially when you go to meet some religious leaders, or maybe you meet a fellow Christian lady like you, or a Christian man like you, to express your pain in an abusive marriage. Some of them tell you, sister, you have to pray. Oh, I think you're not praying. Your prayer, where is your war room? You have to war room. These things could be spiritual. So is prayer a form of seeking help? Is prayer help? Does prayer do anything in helping anyone in an abusive relationship?
Okay, fantastic. Prayer, we must understand the purpose of prayer. And if you understand the purpose of prayer, you can then pray correctly.
True.
Now, prayer is for fellowship with God. Prayer is for revelation, guidance. And prayer is for a place where you make requests, and those requests are granted by God. Now, prayer is an important part of life, because I believe and I know, I'm a witness, God answers prayers. Now, so that's one way prayer helps. When you come to God in prayer, God answers prayers. Now, but while you are praying and believing for an answer, it does not shut down your thinking capacity.
Exactly.
You don't shut down and say, I'm praying and waiting. No. Your prayers should, while you pray, you must get guidance, revelation on what to do, how to go about this. If you are praying and you don't have strategies to fix issues, then you need to talk to someone who can give you the strategies, how to do it. So prayer is important. Another thing prayer does is that prayer brings you to a point where you can actually identify problems and articulate those problems. You know, because that's why most people who are prayerful always are clear with their visions and their goals. Because for you to ask God about something specific, it means you must have thought through to say, I need a business this year, I want to do this, I want to do that. You put them down as prayer requests and you pray about them. What you have done is that you have set goals. So your prayer request helps you set goals, helps you create expectations. So if you are praying for something, a woman who is abused is praying for her husband, you clearly are able to identify the norm, what you want. That means you are not accepting your situation as the norm. That's why you are seeking change from God. And that is a very good thing. That is good spiritually and is good psychologically. Because accepting it as the norm is dangerous. But if you are praying for a change, it means you know that this is not ideal. This needs to get better. So prayer is very useful. And prayer also helps you to stay sane. Because when you are praying and you believe that there's divine help, that keeps you focused. That makes you want to keep living. You don't want to end your life because you know God will answer one day, and I want to be alive when God answers. So prayer has I can talk about 100 benefits of prayer. But while you are praying, you need to also add some other things. You cannot be a prayer warrior and a doctor at the same time. So when you are praying, you can talk to a doctor. You cannot be the one praying and be the psychiatrist at the same time. While you are praying, you must talk to a psychiatrist. So that it even helps you guide your prayers right. Because you should know what you are praying for. If you are praying for the demon in your husband's village to leave him alone when he has a mental issue, a mental health challenge, you will be praying amiss. But if you know that his problem is he has a mental health challenge because you have sought professional help, then you know how to even pray properly and how to handle it properly. So I want to encourage people, prayer is not the solution, prayer is a solution. While you are praying, you must also talk to a professional. Talking is very important. Don't bottle these things up. That is what drives people crazy. That's what causes depression. When you bottle this up, and one day the bottle explodes, you can't take it anymore. So find a professional to talk with. And pastors, now that you brought it up, I want to also encourage pastors and ministers and teachers and church folks, religious leaders, not just Christian leaders, religious leaders. As a counselor, your job is not to tell people what to do. It's to help people understand the options available to them and let them make their decisions. It cannot be that my pastor said I should stay in the marriage. If somebody says that after a counseling session, the pastor failed in their responsibility. Because as a counselor, it's not your duty to tell people what to do, except you are ready to take responsibility for the consequences of their action. If you tell a woman, stay in this marriage, and she stays and she is harmed in any way, you that told her to stay must be willing to pay damages because she acted in line with your actions. So you must pay damages for whatever she suffered. You should be held liable. That's why as a counselor, never ever tell people what to do. Tell them their options and the consequences of all of these options and let them make their decisions. So your goal is to say, if you stay, this and this and this will be the consequences and the risk. If you leave, these are the consequences and the risk. What do you want to do? And the person will tell you, okay, this is what I think I should do. And then you tell the person, if you do this, do you know this and this and this will be the consequence? Are you sure you can deal with this? The person says, I can handle it, I can do this. Okay, if you go, take some time, think about it, pray about it, and then come back and tell me what you really want to do. You see, when you do that, the person makes the decision by themselves. But you have helped them get information, see all sides of the decision, biblically and otherwise, so that when they make those decisions, they will not say, I never knew. They make those decisions based on the right information. That's how counseling should work.
Yes.
And so people don't say, my pastor told me to stay. My doctor told me to stay. No, you must make your own decisions. True. After they have said to you, this is what you should do, you should take that as an opinion.
True.
Not an instruction from God, an opinion. And then sit down and say, can I do this? Can I cope with it? And if yes, then you go ahead. If no, you are within your rights to do what is best for you. Because every woman, every man, you deserve to be happy.
True.
You deserve to live a life of happiness.
And happiness is a choice.
Exactly.
Happiness is a choice.
Exactly.
It's very important. Yeah. Okay. Wow. This is a lot to take in. This is a lot to take in. So another question here is, you've already talked about it, Pastor, because the question that came up, the next one is, how can you help an abused person? So I think we have actually covered that, to seek help, talk to people. Now the next question is, what are the best coping skills or mechanism for physical abuse, and how long can it affect anyone? I think we've talked about it partly, but what are the best coping mechanism or skills for an abused person? Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so for an abused person, the first thing you must know, there are a few things I noted that you must know. Number one, you must keep telling yourself, I am not to blame. You are not to blame. Because that's how the abusers keep you perpetually in that position, keep you perpetually vulnerable. When they make it look like it's your fault, you are to blame for this. You caused it.
Yes.
You are never, there's no time, under no circumstance should you agree that you were to blame. What if, in a case where the woman cheated on the man, and the man found out and still kept her at home, but every day he's tormenting her with that, taunting her with that, every day he's using that as a platform, and then the woman keeps saying that if I didn't cheat, it wouldn't have happened. No, not so. What he's done is done.
Yes.
If you've resolved to still continue together, let that go. He has to let that go. It shouldn't be the basis for you to accept violence, to say, I deserve it. You don't deserve it. You are not to blame. Number two, you are not the cause. So it's not because of what you did. You are not the cause. Number three, you deserve to be treated rightly. You deserve to be treated with respect.
True.
You must tell yourself that I deserve to be treated. If you don't think you deserve to be treated with respect, you will accept abuse. You accept the violence as your lot in life. And many people, because of they feel like, oh, my husband is doing me a favor, or my wife is doing me a favor, so I need to accept this. No, you deserve to be treated with respect. Whether you are from a poor family, whether you are from you are educated or you are uneducated, whether you went to school or not, whether you can speak correct English or not, whatever the circumstance, whether you have children or not, whether you have given birth to boys or girls or not, whatever the situation, you deserve to be treated with respect.
Yes.
And so if you are not being treated with respect, you know that there's a problem. You deserve to stay safe and to be happy.
True.
You deserve to live a safe and happy life. And then you must know that you are not alone. And that is the trick. Where you feel I have nobody, that's a lie. If you want to know that you have somebody, put it up on social media.
Oh my goodness.
Say, this is what I'm going through. You will see people volunteering to come to your aid. You are never alone. That is these things you must tell yourself. Otherwise, you will remain and accept abuse as the norm. Now, the second thing is that if you are in the home and you are staying, you must find ways to cope. Observe, know the abuser's red flags.
Oh, yes.
What are the red flags? What triggers it?
Yes.
What triggers it? What happens? What are the signs you know that this man is starting again or this woman is going to start again?
True.
Observe those red flags.
Yes.
If you don't know those red flags, then you will be taken unaware. But when you know those red flags, when you see him, there are some men, they begin to stutter. And then the next thing you know, when you observe those red flags, you know that this is time to take off. This is time to find safety.
Exactly.
So you observe those red flags. If you must stay in it, if you feel that you have chosen to remain there, and I'm not telling you to, and neither am I telling you not to. If you've made that choice by yourself, then you must observe the red flags.
True.
What triggers it? Not because you want to correct him, but because you want to protect yourself. When you note those red flags, you know what to do next. And then you must identify safe areas in your home. So where do you run to? Don't go to the bathroom and lock the door. There's no other escape route from there. So if he breaks down the door,
exactly,
you can be killed.
You are gone.
Don't go to the kitchen. There are knives.
Exactly.
He can pick up a knife. He can pick up something to hurt you. So
or
there has to
you
be,
can hurt him
or you too can hurt him in the process.
Yes.
So sometimes going outside may just be better. At other times, if you have a room that has another window exit or another exit where you can escape from, if you have to, then you do that. So identify a safe area in your home that where in this corner, if I have to, if I'm at risk, I can just run in this way while expecting help. Now that safe area would be nice to have a phone there so that you can call for help. Communicate there. It would be nice to have a phone there. It would be nice to have a way to escape, maybe from a window or somewhere else to escape. Or if you can't escape because of protectors, you can call for help. Open the window and shout for help.
Loud it.
You can do that. So you must find a safe area. And then you can come up with codes. Code words that the children will know. That your house help will know. That the security man will know. A code word that when you say this, they know that they will call your sister. They will call your relative. They will call your friend. So you keep.
Wow, that is new.
You have those code words, so that sometimes you may not be able to tell them what's going on, but you just say "Chineke me," and they get the message.
Exactly.
They just get the message. They know anytime mommy says "Chineke me," it means I should call grandma.
Yes, it's what to do.
It means I should call grandpa.
Yes.
So immediately you say "Chineke me." They will just quietly sneak away and call grandma that mommy is in trouble. There's a problem. Mommy is in trouble. And then quickly, or they call your friend. They know who to call. The security man quickly knows what to do. He calls, say, Madam needs help, or I don't know what's happening, but Madam said that word. And then immediately, that person quickly rushes down to intervene. They know that there's a problem. If they can't intervene quickly, they can call the police. And the police comes in. And then the abusive partner doesn't know who called. How did they know? He doesn't understand.
Nobody actually came in to interrupt anything.
Nobody came in. Nobody's asking. The security man is safe. The children are safe. They don't. Nobody knows what happened. So he's surprised. How did the police know?